Howdy y'all, it's Cody from the Keepers of Nerdom. How y'all doing? It's part 2 of our Keyforge Age of Ascension box opening. 4 more decks to look at. Kara, go ahead and get your first one open and we'll get into this and we'll read through the cards. We will actually go through and read each one as though we haven't seen these yet because obviously you may not have seen part 1 and we just want to make sure. So Kara, go ahead. And what's your first deck?
Mars, Brahmanar, and Untamed.
Sweet. And what's the name?
Field Marshal Harold Trueheart.
That's actually awesome.
That's a cool name.
That blue is beautiful. All right. Once again, we are not going to check the actual set list on the card. Let's just go through it and see, is this actually a good deck or not? And we'll do a little review as we go. All right. Our first card is Witch of the Wilds. Love it. During each turn in which Untamed is not your active house, you may play one Untamed card. Bonkers. Pampaka Anga. Nice. Yes. Creatures to the right of Pampaka Anga. In the battle line, get +2 power. Wonderful power card. Fogbank. Play. Your opponent cannot use creatures to fight on the next turn. Another one. They're everywhere. Play. Deal 2 damage to each enemy flank creature. Deal 1 damage to each enemy creature not on a flank. Very nice. Tantalden. Terrible card. 9 power. Only deals 2 damage when fighting. When you fight, discard a random card from your opponent's archives. Meh. Save the Pack. Play. Destroy each damaged creature. Gain 1 chain. With They're Everywhere, this card gets really, really good, but it does destroy yours as well, so just be aware. Key Charge. Play. Lose 1 amber. If you do, you may forge a key at current cost. Very good card. Grove Keeper. At the end of the turn, give each neighboring creature a +1 power counter. Very good. Ooh. Fang House. Haven't seen him very often. He's Assault 3, Hazardous 3. So when he attacks, he deals 3 damage before he attacks, and when he's attacked, he deals 3 damage before he gets to even get hit. So 6 damage when somebody actually makes it to him total. Very cool. Darna. Play. Gain 1 amber for each damaged friendly creature. Reap. Heal 2 damage from a friendly creature. Another one. Martian Generosity. Ooh, very nice. Play. Lose all of your amber. Draw 2 cards for each amber lost. Okay. I've never seen this card before. This is a terrifying card. Very, very powerful, but also you lose all your amber. Could be a lot of draw card potential. Hypnotic Command. A great card here for each friendly... Mars creature. Choose any creature to capture 1 from its own side. Always a good card to see. Just depends on how many Mars creatures you have, if that's good. Hypno Beam. Play. Gain control of an enemy creature. I've not seen this card either. We didn't get a whole lot of Gen 2. This is a bonkers card. Zizix Shockworm. After an enemy creature reaps, stun it. Very good. Vesma Thinktrone. Reap. You may archive a friendly creature or artifact from play. Not a great card. Tixel Beam Buckler. Play. Deal 2 damage to a creature. Move it to either flank of its controller's battle line. Now, Vesma could be useful for him just to make him be able to use his ability again. Mother Gun. Action. Reveal any number of Mars cards from your hand. Deal damage to a creature equal to the number of Mars cards revealed this way. Another Mother Gun. Glixel Proliferator. Reap. If Glixel Proliferator is on a flank, archive a Mars card from your discard pile. That's really cool. Collector Worm. Love this card. Fight. And it's a 2 power with 5 armor. Fight. Archive the creature Collector Worm fights. If that creature leaves your archives, put it in its owner's hand instead. Very good. Agent Human. Elusive and Reap. Choose a friendly non-Mars creature and an enemy non-Mars creature. Stun the chosen creature. Nice. Another one. All right. Tireless Crocag is our rare. Kara, go ahead and get your next deck ready. He cannot reap. You may use him as if he belonged to the active house, and if your opponent has no creatures in play, destroy Tireless Crocag. Lollop the Titanic. I love the artwork of this card, but I don't like this card in general. He deals no damage when attacked, so that people can attack him, and they don't get hurt. But when he attacks, he hits for 11.
That's good.
Into the fray. Play. For the remainder of the turn, a friendly Brahmanar creature gains fight. Ready this creature. Now, all of a sudden, Lollop the Titanic is pretty interesting. Groke, 5 power, fight, your opponent loses 1 amber. Very nice. Gauntlet of Command, action, ready and fight with a friendly creature artifact. First Blood Alpha card, so you have to play it first. Play, deal 2 damage for each friendly Brahmanar creature. You may divide this damage among any number of creatures. Not a good card. Calfine, before fight, deal 2 damage to each neighbor of the creature Calfine fights. Bramo, play, deal 2 damage to each enemy flank creature. That's a play effect. That's awesome. Another Bramo. Woo! Nasty. Bingle Bang Bang. Love this card. Before fight, deal 5 damage to each neighbor of the creature Bingle Bang Bang fights. So he's only 2 power, but he's going to deal 5 and 5 to the things next to the thing he fights. Fantastic. So if something's taunting, he gets around it. Very, very good. 1-2 punch. Play. Stun an enemy creature. If that creature was already stunned, destroy it instead. And a 1-2 punch. Very good. Honestly, this is going to probably be a decently high-rated deck. I don't know if it generates a lot of amber, and that might be the one reason it's not high rated, but the control and the power it has is fantastic. And the boosting it potential it has as well. You could have some Brobnar in here with 13 or more power pretty easily. This is a fun deck. Don't know if it's going to be any 100% by any means, but I think it's going to be in the high 60s to 70s maybe.
Okay.
All right.
Dis, Mars, and Logos. Restless Cadwin of the Canyon.
Interesting name. Okay. So the only repeat we have for this set is Mars from our last house deck. So we will go through. We're not going to look at the card itself because it kind of gives us just the mystery of what's in here. Zorg. He enters play stunned. Before fight, stun the creature. Zorg fights in each of that creature's neighbors. If you can get this thing to start going and working, amazing card. But he's hard to get going. Stormcrawler. 6 power, 1 armor. Only deals 1 damage when fighting. It's so sad. But after an enemy creature reaps, stun it. Very useful for that. He's there really just for his ability. Flotsam Spike. I don't remember this card actually. Play. If there are no friendly creatures in play, destroy each creature. If there are no friendly creatures in play, destroy each creature not on a flank. Man, that's a nasty one. Hypno Beam, we've seen. Awesome. Destroy them all. Play. Destroy an artifact, a creature, and an upgrade. Great card. This Mars already. Tixel Beam Buckler, we've seen. Fantastic. Another one. Sky Booster Squadron. When he reaps, return him to your hand, so if he's damaged, you could heal him. It's okay. Another one. Not a huge fan of those cards. And I was a little harsh in part 1, but honestly, they're useful in that they can heal themselves, but I just don't like them. Mars. First, play, ready, and use a friendly Mars creature. Just an action. So simple, so good, because that helps you get Zorg ready and use him and get past the stun a little faster. Fantastic. Another one. Woo! A third. This Mars is insane. Really cool. Master of Theory. Play. If there are no friendly creatures in play, you may archive a card for each enemy creature. So 2 cards now that are looking for no creatures for you in play. Very interesting. That's a rare, and that's a beautiful rare. Very good. Sloppy Lab Work. Play. Archive a card, discard a card. This is a better card than Lab Work because it allows you to get rid of 2 cards. And at first I related to man, I have to discard a card? No. This is really good because you can get rid of something you didn't want and you were holding on to because you thought it might be useful or, and it wasn't, right? This is useful. Quantum Finger Trap. It's an artifact action. Swap the positions of 2 creatures in a battle line. Not that great of an artifact, but it has its uses occasionally. Memory Chip. Artifact. After you choose Logos as your active house, archive a card. Very good. Just takes a little bit. Philo the Researcher. I don't remember this one. She's a 1 power, elusive. After creatures played adjacent to Philo the Researcher, draw a card. Oh my goodness. She's awesome. Director of Zix. Elusive. At the start of your turn, archive the top card of your deck. Woo! I love it. Zix Researcher. Play. Archive the top card of your deck or the top card of your discard pile. Kara, if this isn't a high-rated deck, I'd be interested in possibly trading because this is just a fun Logos and the Mars. Another Zix Researcher, but I'm afraid this thing's going to be rated pretty high. Wild Wormhole. Play the top card of your deck. Another one.
Yay.
Igor. Play. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 to your hand and discard the others. The Logos is fast in this. Binate Rupture. The first bad card we've seen, really, I think. Yeah. Alpha, so you have to play at the start. Each player gains amber equal to the amber in their pool. Again, not an actual bad card, but just dangerous because if they have a lot of amber, this may not be useful to you. And it's dangerous, too. All right, get our next deck ready. Eater of the Dead. Fight or reap. Purge a creature from a discard pile. If you do, put a +1 power counter on Eater of the Dead. Nice. All right. 3 Fates. Play. Destroy the 3 most powerful creatures. And you have Mars, Logos, and Dis, so you don't have Brobnar, or obviously Saurians weren't a thing yet, so this could really target something else. That's pretty cool. Pandemonium. Each undamaged creature captures 1 from its opponent. That's you and your opponent. Great control card. Old Yerk. Play. Choose and discard 2 cards from your hand. Oh my gosh. There's a Yerk. Play. Choose and discard a card from your hand. This is fantastic already. Unlock Gateway, Omega. After you play this card in this step, play destroy each creature. Not as good as Gateway to Dis from the Gen 1, but a really good card because it at least allows you to get rid of them if they've got something massive. What do you think, Kara?
You might want to be careful with Wild Wormhole because
That's true.
played the card and I've gotten that as my card.
So that's a great observation, Kara. Good call, because that's the one danger now of this deck, that you could accidentally blow up everything on the field, including your stuff you didn't want to because of Wild Wormholes. We've seen it happen. Streak is elusive. While Streak is not on a flank, your opponent refills their hand to one less card during their draw card step. Very good. A second one. Awesome. As far as I remember, those do stack, so you could get them down to -2 if they were out. Very nice. Obviously, they'll try to target them and get rid of them. But Misery Exploit. Play. Gain 1 amber for each damaged enemy creature. Really good, too. There, okay. And also Streak, just keep in mind he's elusive, so the first time they try to get fought, nothing happens. Pretty nice. Now, that being said, fight effects could go off, too. That's the one issue there. Lash of Broken Dreams in action. The keys cost +3 during your opponent's next turn. A great artifact because it helps you control. Good stuff. And Exhume. Choose a creature in your discard pile. You may play that creature as if it belonged to the active house and was in your hand. Oh my goodness. And last but not least, a Dust Imp. When he's destroyed, you get 2 amber. I'm going to say this may very well be, Kara. This has the potential to be a 100% deck or up in the high 90s. This is one of those decks that just is shocking. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to trade for it, it's probably going to be that deck. That's insane. Really cool. All right, let's continue on. What's our next deck, Kara?
Logos, Shadows, and Untamed. Very interesting mix.
Yeah.
Is that Arch or Archibot?
Archibot.
Archibot of Vita Place.
Vita Place. Okay, weird. All right, these are fun going through and not actually looking at the set list, isn't it? It kind of gives us that interesting mystery of what are we about to see? Is this going to be a good deck or not? All right. Punctuated Equilibrium. Play. Each player discards their hand, then refills their hand as if it were the end of their turn. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. This allows you to keep going on your turn and keep playing Untamed. This also messes with your opponent that they had this big epic thing planned. Now, granted, they could get a great hand, but if they already had something planned for the next turn, you could completely disrupt it, especially if they had a great turn before. Just be aware of the timing that you play this, and if so, you're in good shape. Fantastic. Pose Pixies. I haven't seen these in a long time. Elusive. They're 1 power. Amber stolen or captured from your pool is taken from the common supply instead, so they protect you. Very, very nice. Fogbank. We've seen that. Can't play. I think we have. Cannot use creatures to fight on their next turn. Camouflage. Creatures. This is an upgrade. Creatures not on a flank cannot fight this creature. Nice. Amber Spine Mongrel. He's hazardous 3, so before he even gets attacked, he deals 3 damage. After your opponent uses a creature to reap, gain 1 amber. So he's a nice little booster. We've seen Tantalon. Key Charge. Grove Keeper. Full Moon. For the remainder of the turn, gain 1 amber each time you play a creature. Very nice. Fang House we've seen. There's a lot of creatures here, too. Dusk Witch. There you go. If you get really lucky and get 2, this is all of a sudden a interesting deck. Omega. So she ends your step. She's elusive as well, so the first time she gets fought, nothing happens to her. Your creature's interplay ready. So if you can keep her alive even for 1 turn, she makes it all worth it. There's another one. You don't want 3 ever, because obviously if you play 1, you can't play it again. But having 2 gives that option to return again. Now, you have to be careful because it could be bad if you get 2 of them. Key of Darkness. Memory serves, I don't think this is a good card. Play. Forge a key at +6 current cost. If your opponent has no amber, forge a key at +2 current cost instead.
That sounds like a weird card.
It is. If you have lots of steel in here, this could actually be really useful. If you don't, this is terrible. Lights Out. Return 2 enemy creatures to their owner's hand when you play it. Another one. Bryn the Frenetic. He's a skirmish. When you play, your opponent gains 1 amber. When he's destroyed, steal 3. You can't ever destroy him in combat because he's a skirmisher, though. So that's the one problem here. But he can steal 3. He's an alpha and an omega swindle card. So it's the first card you play, and it's the end of your phase once you play it. When you play it, steal 3 amber. Very nice. Ronnie Wrist Clocks. Okay. Play, steal 1. If your opponent has 7 or more, steal 2 instead. There's another one. Good deal. There's a third one. All right. Lamindra, she's deploy, she's elusive, and she gives her neighbors elusive. Nice. Knuckles Bolton is just elusive and skirmish. There's no steal here, though. He's a really cool card, but there's no steal. And there's a second one of him, Bad Penny. When she's destroyed, return it to your hand. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough steal in there, I don't think, to really make it valuable. The Ronnie Wrist Clocks is nice. There is a steal 3, but that ends your turn, so you can't really rely on that. And when he's destroyed, steals 3. I don't know. Key of Darkness is going to be a hard one.
Whenever it says Alpha and Omega, does that mean you have to play it first, but then that just instantly ends your turn?
Yes, you have to play it as your first card, and then as soon as you play it, that your playing card step is over. So this is all you get to do. Scientifical Hack artifact. Omni sacrifice it. For the remainder of the turn, you may use friendly artifacts as if they belong to the active house. Not a great card, but interesting. Philo the Researcher we have seen. Zix Researcher we've seen. Wild Wormhole. Titan Librarian at the end of your turn. If Titan Librarian is not on a flank, archive a card. It's okay. 2 of them. Very cool. 3 of them. That's interesting. That's a lot of archive. Poke. The first turn you get to play this with the Titan Librarian, this was really, if memory serves, the timing on this is it's after you draw cards. So the archive cards don't actually help right away. Poke, play, deal 1 damage to an enemy creature. If this damage destroys that creature, draw a card. Not a great card, but it's useful-ish. Pip Pip, 2 energy or 2 health. After an enemy creature reaps, stun it. Not bad. 2 of them. Igor we've seen. Binate Rupture we have seen as well. And that's it. I don't know. This deck's fun. The Untamed gives you so many interesting options there. I would say it might be an 80% deck. Maybe. All right. Okay. What we got? Last deck for part 2.
Sanctum, Mars, and Shadows.
Okay.
Santos, the Mason of...
Triwick?
Okay. I don't know.
Weird. All right. And that is our last deck. We're going to see, we've seen all of these except for Sanctum as houses this time around. So Sanctum will probably be the one we have to focus in on. All right. So Shadows is first. Sack of Coins is a rare. Play, deal 1 damage to a creature for each amber in your pool. So you're hitting them with a sack of coins. Based on how much amber you have is how hard you hit. That's a lot of fun. I like that card. I've not seen that one before. Yeah, we didn't buy a whole lot of Gen 2 when it came out because it was not labeled as very good, and we liked Gen 1 enough that we're like, that's fine. Another rare, Lethal Distraction. Play, choose a creature for the remainder of the turn. Whenever this creature takes damage, it takes an additional 2 damage. So you can... That's interesting. You make them even more easily hurt. Interesting. Redlock, he's a skirmish. 3 power. At the end of your turn, if you do not play any creatures this turn, gain 1 amber. Meh. That's not going to come up very often, but it's interesting. Perplexing Sophistry action. Play, if you have more amber than your opponent, they discard a random card from their hand and you draw a card. Cool. Yancey Gang, action, steal 1 amber. 5 power. Umbra, skirmish. Fight, steal 1 amber. Very good card. Another one. Swindle, Alpha and Omega, we've seen. Ronnie Wrist Clocks, we've seen. Another one. All right, there's a lot of steel here. Lemindra, we've seen. Gives that elusive. Knuckles Bolton, very nice. All right, here's our Sanctum. Proclamation 346E. While your opponent does not control creatures from 3 different houses, their keys cost +2. That's an artifact that's just a permanent once it's out. This is an amazing artifact because if you just control the fight, and as long as you got Mars in here and Sanctum, because Shadows isn't going to be good about controlling creatures, but they're looking for creatures from 3 different houses. Very interesting. Okay, here's the unfortunate thing. Epic Quest. We talked about this in part 1 because another deck had it. Play, archive each friendly knight creature and play. Depending on how many knights are in here makes this semi-usable or not at all. The last time we saw it, it wasn't really usable. So it's an Omni that if you've played 7 or more Sanctum cards this turn, which is funny it's an Omni because you'd have to play it on a Sanctum turn, really. Sacrifice Epic Quest and forge a key at no cost.
Okay, I'll count how many knights
All right, yep, keep track of the knights. All right, Anahita the Trader, not a knight. 2 power. Reap, give control of any artifact to your opponent. If you do, they must give you 2 amber. So you basically steal 2 amber, but it's just a give. That's interesting wording. It's not a steal. Sir Maros, he's a knight. If your opponent gains amber by reaping, Sir Maros captures it 4-2. Very good. Shield of Justice. Play for the remainder of the turn. Each friendly creature cannot be dealt damage. Maruk the Marked, another knight. 5-1. After Maruk the Marked prevents damage with its armor, capture 1 amber for each damage just prevented. If you can ever get him more armor, he captures more amber. Very cool. Hallowed Shield. Choose a creature. Oh, this is an artifact as well. For the remainder of the turn, the chosen creature cannot be dealt damage. Which, side note, means Maruk the Marked doesn't even block with his armor if he can't be dealt damage. Just a side note, important piece. Golden Aura. Play, choose a creature, fully heal the chosen creature. For the remainder of the turn, the chosen creature is considered to be in House Sanctum and cannot be dealt damage. Ooh, another Golden Aura, a 3rd. Oh, man.
Ew.
What in the...
Why is there 4?
That's so bad. Blinding Light. Choose a house on each creature of that house. And that's it. How many knights? 2. So unfortunately, Epic Quest, again, is not really very usable.
It is very
Is it technically possible? Yes, because you get how many cards per turn, Kara, in your hand?
I forgot what the card said.
How many cards do you have in your hand when you draw cards? What do you refill to? Do you remember?
6.
Yep. So it's still technically possible. If you had a whole hand of Sanctum cards, you at least need one night. All right, so here's our last little bit here, the Mars Invasion Portal artifact. I don't remember this card either. Action, discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard a Mars creature or run out of cards. If you discard a Mars creature this way, put it in your hand. Depends on how many Mars creatures we have if this is useful. Flotsam Spike we've seen. This is an interesting card. Orbital Bombardment. Reveal any number of Mars cards from your hand. For each card revealed, and it's cards, not creatures, just cards for Mars. For each card revealed this way, deal 2 damage to a creature, and you can choose different creatures each time with that 2 damage. Zizix Shockworm again. There's that stun. Yixel Dominator, great Mars card. He's a 9 power, 1 armor, taunt, and he enters play stun. But if he's taunting, doesn't really matter that he's stunned. He can still deal his 9 damage. Very good. Kara, keep track of how many Mars creatures we have. We have 2 now, and we're on our 3rd. Tixel Beam Buckler, we've seen. 4th, Sky Booster Squadron. Mother Gun, we've seen. Mindworm. He's elusive, 1 power. Before fight, the creature Mindworm fights deals damage equal to its power to each of its neighbors. What? So he just makes the thing fight its own team, and then Mindworm goes away. Interesting. Mars needs Amber. Each damaged enemy non-Mars creature captures 1 from their own side. This is crazy if you can get them damaged. Very cool. Mars first. Ready and use a friendly Mars creature. Fantastic. Glixel Proliferator we've already seen. Very nice. How many Mars cards were there? Creatures?
5.
There's 5 creatures. 1. I think there might have been more, Kara.
No, we
2,
said
3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh.
Hey. So that means this is useful. And it's an artifact, so you can always get some more Mars cards. I don't know that that's going to be a high-rated deck because of the Sanctum, unfortunately. I would not be shocked if that's a 40% or lower. But fun. The Mars, and that's a lot of fun. The Shadows is really... That's the one thing that's going to be a question mark here, is the Shadows really quickly. Let's just go back through. And then you do have Proclamation. I don't know. That's interesting. Because the Shadows has got some great stuff. So maybe it saves it and gets it up to a 50. But I don't know. Yeah, the Shadows is awesome in this. Very cool. Yeah, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessments on the decks? And we're going to scan them in after this too and find out ourselves. I've been Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom. Like, share, and subscribe. Take care, y'all, and have a great day. Bye.